Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD. Welcome to part two of the commentated return trip between Barking Riverside and Gospel Oak. Part one, as you can imagine, was between Barking Riverside and here. Part two is going to be the reverse. So if you haven't seen part one, go watch that. It's a rather entertaining video. Let's just put it like that. Um, Gonna enter the cab here. Get set up straight away. So open up the safety systems cabinet, TPWS slash AWS isolation switch, Vigilance slash DST isolation switch into the vertical normal position. Sit your bottom in the cab. I just realized something. Sorry guys, I need to sprint down to the back end quickly because I think I set the driver reminder appliance at the end of my last trip by mistake. Not by mistake, that is the correct thing that you're meant to do, but the problem is the class 710 in Train Sim World has a bit of a bug where if you have the driver reminder appliance set in the back cab, then you're not going to be able to take power for some annoying reason. So yeah, always remember to not set the driver reminder appliance when leaving the cab. Which goes against everything I believe in, but unfortunately that has to be the case. Right, back at the front cab, Usain Bolt. Sit your bottom in the driver's seat. Can set the driver reminder appliance in this cab because this is the cab we'll be driving from. Um, Master key in. F and R switch into the secure position. Acknowledge our AWS self-test sequence.
TPWS at
And
AWS
AWS
operational.
operational. Doors are already open. They were opened at the end of the previous trip, which is perfect. Headlight configuration, day running configuration, sorry. Headlight switch into the day position. I could just easily say that. I'm not sure why I'm bothering with these big words. We're now going to perform a cheeky little static brake test. So F&R switch into forward. What I'm doing is I explained it in part one, so go and watch that where I explained it in detail. I can't be bothered to do it again, but I'm just selecting all the braking positions and ensuring that the display on here corresponds with that. So that's all there is to it, really. Perfect. And then also, sorry, a test of the emergency brake plunger. Do you know what? One sec. Okay, we're back. Sorry, guys. The mic had to get muted for that. I could not. Yeah, that would have been criminal. Yeah, this is what I was talking about in part one. So you can see the emergency brake plungers pressed in, and the display isn't corresponding with that. But when I was doing the static brake test at Barking Riverside, it was corresponding with it. So it's a bit unpredictable, but it does work. That's all that matters. Anyway, back into brake step three. You back in neutral. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Like I said in part one, GSMR can't be configured until the service commences, which is in about a minute and 15 seconds. So yeah, I guess we can look at our cooling pattern here. Upper Holloway, Crouch Hill, Haringey Green Lane, South Tottenham, Black Horse Road, Walthamstow Queens Road, Leighton Midland Road, Leighton High Road, Wanstead Park, Woodgrange Park, Barking, and finally Barking Riverside. So exactly what we just did, but the other way around. So yeah, yeah. I, um, I I can't think of anything to talk about to kill time. So, yeah, we're just gonna sit here in silence. It's not too long until the service commences, so I'm not gonna bother editing down the video or anything. Just gonna sit here in silence, guys. In silence. For someone like me that enjoys waffling, for once I've actually I actually can't think of anything to talk about. Wow. Wow. Right, service has finally commenced, so we're gonna head over to our GSMR handset, press the registration button, press the tick to confirm the register, registration button again, service to Juliet 03, a service that I'm very familiar with driving. Because I'm always driving my morning services because I in the morning is really the only time I get to play Train Sim World, and obviously I like to drive with the game time synced up with real time, as you guys know. So yeah, service to Juliet 03, the 06 whatever to Barking Riverside. So we're gonna get our doors closed. Well, they're already closed, but they're not interlocked. We're gonna get our doors interlocked in about 30 seconds time. And we're gonna drive this correctly this time. We're gonna drive this correctly. And I say that because if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch part one, and that will explain everything. I ain't even gonna talk on that. Oh gosh. Right, so we're now 30 seconds prior to the scheduled departure time. Green signal. Looking at the monitors here. Pressing the door close button. Door close light. Interlock indication instantly illuminates, so doors are interlocked correctly. Final glance at the signal and the monitors. Reset the driver reminder appliance. F and R switch into forward, and we're gonna take 50% power. Speed limit departing from Gospel Oak Station is 15 miles an hour at the moment, though very quickly going up to 20. So I'm just gonna shut off the power at 10 miles an hour. We are on a downward gradient at the moment, so that is gonna aid in our acceleration. So yeah, just literally straight up to 10 miles an hour and then shut off, and speed is gonna begin to roll upwards. So speed limit is now 20 miles an hour. It goes up to 20 when the back of your train is cleared from the section of track with the platform at Gospel Oak. There's another 710 over there. Just acknowledging the driver's safety device there. I'm sure the speed limit goes up to 40 somewhere around here. Has it already gone up to 40? Okay, I guess it did. I didn't see the speed board. So we're gonna use about 75% power to accelerate up to 30, and then I'm gonna perform a running brake test. So we're up to 30 miles an hour, selecting brake step 2, as you guys know, shaving off 10 miles an hour off the train speed, and releasing the brakes. Then I'm gonna use about 50% power. Speed limit's going up to 55, so I'm gonna select 100% power now. 50% was just to slowly bring us up to 40 miles an hour without exceeding it. But speed limit's now gone up to 55, so we don't need to worry about that. Now reducing the power to ensure that we don't exceed 55. And we're in this big left hand bend here. As you get to the siding on the left there, the end of the siding, get your brake step 2 application. Sorry, siding on the right. The end of the siding on the right, get your brake step 2 application in, and that should bring you into Upper Holloway Station. on a decent braking curve. Reduce it to brake step 1 where necessary, of course. And aiming for 20 to 25 miles an hour into the platform here. Stopping position at the end of the platform. Aiming for a nice smooth stop, just like so. Perfect. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm on. Brake step 2, door release on the left. It's always door release on the left, to be honest, except for Barking Station and possibly Barking Riverside as well. But other than that, it's you're always gonna have a door release on the left on this route. Right, green signal. Get those doors closed. Doors are interlocked. 50% power. And we're away. Next station, Crouch Hill, my people. Next station, Crouch Hill. So speed limit is 55 miles an hour. Shortly going down to 30 miles an hour at the end of this straight section of track. So I'm gonna accelerate up to about 45 and then coast for a moment. Then get a brake step 1 application in to bring us down to 30 miles an hour. Just like so. 30 limit comes into force there, so that little bridge, well, medium bridge, it's not a big bridge, not a little bridge, medium bridge that we just passed beneath. Look out for that. And speed limit will be 30 miles an hour all the way up until just before South Tottenham Station, where it goes down to 20 miles an hour. And for reference, next station is Crouch Hill, then Haringey Green Lanes is after that, and then South Tottenham is after that. So yeah, you can see speed is just beginning to roll above the speed limit, but we're about to get the brakes in for Crouch Hill, so no need to panic about that. You can see I'm driving a lot more cautiously now compared to how I was driving before. I hate it when that happens. Like when I press hold on, I'll explain it in a second. When I think this happens to PC players as well. When you press a command on the controller or the keyboard or whatever, and the game doesn't register it correctly, it's so irritating because and this never used to happen back in my open BVE days and my Train Sim Classic days. Like if I press a command, the command gets registered. That's one thing I like about the older games. But on this, you've got these stupid slow moving what's the word, controls, like I'm some kid or something. Like I really think there should be a controller sensitivity option. I know you've got the sensitivity to option to look around and stuff like that, but regarding the controls, I feel like the controls should definitely, because some people, you've got a lot of sharp people like me that can just like, they just literally want to tap on the controls and have their input be registered. But like not everyone's some idiot that needs to hold down the thing for 5 seconds for it to be registered. I hope that makes sense, but yeah. Speed limit still 30 miles an hour. What I'm gonna do is I've accelerated up to 30 and then I'm gonna just let it roll back towards 25, because even though we're on an upward gradient at the moment, we're about to hit the summit for that, and that is gonna become a downward gradient. So our speed's gonna start to roll up towards 30. Once it gets to 30, I'm gonna have to tap on the brakes to stop us from exceeding the speed limit. We're more or less downwards all the way into South Tottenham Station now, excluding uh a no, yes, down. I think it's completely downwards all the way into South Tottenham. It does get steeper at certain points, but it is a ruling downward gradient all the way into South Tottenham. The next station is Haringey Green Lanes, of course. You can see the platforms coming up now, and we are making good time. Being very cautious coming into here because it's a very steep downward gradient. Well, not it's not very steep, but it is quite steep. So the train has a habit of not wanting to stop at the last minute. So you want to be be on your toes as you approach the stopping position. Stop, fam. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Brake step 2, door release on the left. Being an underground driver must be so stressful approaching the stopping positions. Like just trying to get it lined up perfectly because they have to have their. I think it's like I don't even know. It's only like I think they have like a foot a foot of leeway or something when it comes to their stopping markers. I think if they're more than a foot out, then it doesn't open, which I think is insane. But yeah, that's a testament to how skilled they are in it. I might be wrong though. I could be incorrect, but I've noticed on underground trains they have their little green markers at the end of the platform that they need to stop at. So yeah, I do generally believe that they only have a foot or maybe a few feet of leeway when it comes to the stopping position at the platforms. So just departed from Haringey Green Lanes there. Speed limit's still 30 miles an hour, unfortunately. So still on the downward gradient. Again, accelerating up to 25, letting it roll up to 30, then tapping on the brakes to bring it back down to 25. Rinse and repeat. And if you're on an upward gradient trying to maintain 30, you would just literally, well, it depends. If you're on a train like this that has where you can take any amount of power across the percentage spectrum, then you just find the amount of power that maintains 30. If you're on a train that has say 4 steps of power, then it would be power notch 1 or 2 or whatever causes you to gain speed. When you get to 30, reduce the power, speed comes back down to 25, and then increase power once again, rinse and repeat. But we're going downhill, so we're gonna have to employ that technique but with braking instead. Right, so this signal with the overbridge, that is a good indication that you're approaching an upcoming 20 mile an hour speed limit, so I'm gonna tap on the brakes to slow down for that now. Just like so. And that is the end of the downward section of track as well. And here is South Tottenham Station, my people. South Tottenham Station. And tell a lie, there's a bit of a downward gradient. coming into here as well, but it was momentarily upward before, so it threw me out a bit. Right, brake step 3, sorry, brake step 2, door release on the left. For anyone who's confused, and I did explain this in part 1, but on a class 710, you brake step 2 and remaining in forward is permitted when opening doors at stations. And to be honest, I'm sure it's permitted on other trains as well. It's a bit, I've closed the doors too early. Sorry guys. I'm not used to running early, so it's a bit alien to me. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of other train operators that don't require you to go into neutral and full service when at stations, but it's just something that I prefer to do. But on the class 710, because it's such a rapid stop and start train, that's why I'm deciding to only use brake step 2 and remaining forward. But on more or less any other train that I drive, you will see me going to brake step 3 and neutral when stopped at stations. Right, so speed limit departing from South Tottenham was 20. Tottenham, not Tottenham. It was 20, and then I think it went up to 30 and then 45 straight after. I can't remember. So we're gonna accelerate up to that now. In fact, no, we're not. We're gonna. Are we clear of that? Okay, I think we're clear of it. There was a neutral section around there that I somehow didn't notice, but I remembered that it was there at the last minute. So ensure that you don't take power until you're clear of that neutral section. Also, keep in mind that speed limit goes down to 20 miles an hour in a second. So this signal here, so the signal that you come across after accelerating up to 45, just after you pass that, get your brakes in, begin slowing down to 20. There's the board there that I can barely make out because of the sunlight. And I'm gonna bring it down to about 17 or so because we are on a bit of a downward gradient. So I just want to ensure that the speed doesn't roll above 20. Oh, yes guys, that is what I sound like when I stretch. Is there a problem? I didn't think so. Speed limit's now going back up to 45 miles an hour, and we are not too far from Black Horse Road Station. There's a nice little right hand bend just before the station, so it's a nice little reminder for you that you're not too far out. Because if this was a straight section of track, you know, doing 20 miles an hour and then accelerating up to 45, there's a chance you're going to forget that the station's there, let's be real. But you've got that nice little right hand bend and the building's there as well, just to serve as a reminder that there's actually a station coming up. So yeah, not long after entering the right hand bend, get your brake step 2 application in. That will bring you into Black Horse Road very nicely. Lovely stuff. Lovely. Not so lovely. That is a... Oh! Alright, brake step 3 momentarily. Brake step 2. Brake step 1. There we are. Perfect. It wasn't perfect. How are we looking on time? Okay, we're not really doing too well on time anymore. I think it's that speed limit. It's got to be that speed limit there. I think that speed limit only applies to freight trains in my opinion. That's got to be the case because it just makes sense when you think about the nature of speed limits like that. They tend to only apply to freight trains. Why am I all of a sudden running late when I was on time leaving the last station? why is someone on YouTube saying that they were traveling on a train over that section of track and it didn't slow down? That speed limit must only apply to freight trains. That is what I'm getting from all of this. I'm still gonna slow down for it when driving along it in Train Simulator, but I'm very convinced that that is on a freight train only speed limit, similar to the speed limit at um Glide Reach Viaduct on the East Coastway. You've got a 40 limit over the viaduct that applies to freight trains only, but passenger trains can do 70 miles an hour. And the speed limit is so irrelevant that they don't even have speed boards for it. They've only got the Morpeth boards, but the actual speed boards don't exist, which I find hilarious. Alright, so next station is Walthamstow Queens Road. So you got this long right hand bend. Shortly after you leave the right hand bend, get your brakes in for Walthamstow Queens Road. Ooh, I'm starving. I'm on a bit of a fast, guys. Or to be honest, I'm not really, but I just normally I'd wake up and just eat straight away, like have my protein shake and all that, but I'm giving my body a bit of time to, you know, gather its bearings, so to speak, before I eat, because I am trying to shred down a bit for the last few months of summer. Um, I know it's July the 4th already, but yeah, I just I'm a bit too. I can't describe it. I'd like to be a bit more, just a bit more shredded overall. So yeah, I'm being a bit more controlled with the eating now. Yeah. Next station is Leytonstone. No, Leighton Midland Road. Speed limit still 45 miles an hour. And we are about to climb. This climb brings us up to um I'm not sure what you would call it. You know when the train's above street level, like flying, when they're flying above all the houses and all of that. I'm sure there's a name for that, but I'm not too sure what it is. But yeah, we're climbing up to that level now. If I lived in one of these houses, it would be a pain. As a kid, if I lived in one of these houses, it would be a pain to get me away from the window, you know. Right, so as we enter this left-hand bend, you want to think about getting the brakes in for Leighton Midland Road. So it's about the fourth or fifth overbridge on this left-hand bend. Or there's a milepost as well. I think there's a milepost that you can look out for. Well, I didn't see no milepost, but I thought damn sure saw the platform, so straight into brake step 3. Yeah, don't look for no milepost. Just look for the fourth or fifth bridge, or just that midway. Just use your senses. Like, just use your senses. When you see that left-hand bend, just understand that you're coming up on the platform, and then you'll be fine. But as a form of reference, it's the fourth or fifth bridge after entering that left-hand bend. Yeah. I was doing a bit of work in Leighton Midland Road one time. I was what was it? It was in the Tesco. I was doing some agency work in the Tesco. Um, I think I was coming from South London, so I had to go up to London Victoria and then get the Victoria line across to. I don't know if there was a quicker way, but I had to get the Victoria line up to Black Horse Road, which the Victoria line is quick. Don't get it twisted, but that's still that was a journey. I can't lie. That was actually a journey, and it was night shift as well to make it worse. But yeah, Victoria line up to Black Horse Road, and then I got to get on this train for 2 stops. So that is the only time I've travelled on this line between Black Horse Road and Leighton Midland Road. And then yeah, I was working in the Leighton Tesco, which was an interesting job. The journey back was, oh yeah, sorry. So departing from Leighton Midland Road, you obviously depart. You come round the right hand bend, and then shortly after that right hand bend, start getting your brakes in for Leytonstone High Road. Yeah, the journey back wasn't too pleasant because, as you can imagine, after a night shift, you're hanging by a thread, and then you got to sit on the Victoria line for flipping 15 minutes. So yeah, best believe I nearly missed my stop. There we are. Brake step 3, neutral. Sorry, brake step 2, and door release on the left. Get those doors closed. Part 2 of this video is very laid back compared to part 1. Part 1 I was a lot more energetic because I was fresh from waking up, but now I'm a bit more laid back, and I'm actually driving correctly for once as well, which is, yeah, it's a bit ironic. Next station is, I'm trying not to look at the HUD. I know the HUD says it, but I need to actually train my memory. Wanstead Park, guys. Next station is Wanstead Park, my people. On a bit of a downward gradient, so I'm gonna shut off the power at 40 miles an hour. I always remember there's that downward gradient between Leytonstone High Road and Wanstead Park. It used to catch me out back in the day, so yeah, just shutting off the power there. So what you're looking for is the second left-hand bend. Second left-hand bend. So this is the first left-hand bend. Coming into the right-hand bend, we've got a little straight section, and then it becomes the left-hand bend again. About midway through that left-hand bend, similar to the approach to Leighton Midland Road. Midway through that left-hand bend, just get your brakes in, and that will bring you into the station at Wanstead Park. So here's the left-hand bend now. So I'd say second underbridge. You can see the platforms coming up there. Bit too fast. Brake step 3. Was I in brake step 1 the whole time? Sorry, I can't even. It's this stupid controller, man. And yeah, there we are. Still stopped in the right place, which is all that matters. Get those doors open. Yeah, honestly, guys, there'll be times where I think I'm in brake step 2 and I'm in brake step 1. Or there'll be times where I think I'm in brake step 1 and I'm in release, which is even worse. And it really throws me off. It gets irritating sometimes. So yeah, I just wish the controller inputs would be a bit more sensitive. Just just literally a little tap. Like, let me tell you guys what I'm talking about. Hold on. So, close the doors. If I tap on the R2 button right now, okay, maybe. Oh, okay, okay, I see I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. Okay, I'm gonna get into that now. I'm gonna get into that in a second. Very, very clever. I've just learned something. I've been humbled. I've been humbled. Guys, I've been humbled. I was wrong. I was incorrect, okay? I take full accountability. Blame me. Right. Speed limit drops to 40 miles an hour departing from Wanstead Park, so do keep that in mind. And it goes down to 30 miles an hour, not too far from here as well, so again, keep that in mind. Next station is Wood Grange Park. Wood Grange Park, my people. It's funny, you got Wanstead Park and Wood Grange Park, two potential points of confusion. And then speed limit goes up to 45, but shortly down to 30, so don't bother accelerating up to that. At this signal here, I'm gonna think about getting the brakes in. So yeah, get the brakes in now. Up that to brake step 2 momentarily, just to bring us down to the 30 limit in time. And then reduce the brake step 1. And you can see the platforms at Wood Grange Park coming up, so just gonna maintain a brake step 1 application. That should bring us into the station on a decent braking curve. So yeah, you got Wood Grange Park and Wanstead Park, which you can potentially get confused with one another. And then same with Leytonstone High Road and Leyton Midland Road. Like, someone who's not familiar with the route would definitely struggle with that. There we are. So yeah, the reason why I got humbled, guys, is because I'm doing these little taps on the R2 and L1. Sorry, R2 and R1. I'm literally tapping on them. And what that's doing is it's half notching. This is something known as half notching. I saw the guy talking about this on the forum as well. Right, green signal. Let's get a move on. Half notching is more or less it's literally what it sounds like. You're selecting a braking position in between two notches. So notch 2.5, notch 0.5. Sorry, notch 1.5, notch 2.5, notch 3. Step 3 actually. Notches is power, steps is braking. So yeah. Yeah, that is more or less what that is. I did know it was possible to half notch on this, but I didn't really think about. I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. I was wrong. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go. Right, next station is Barking. Speed limit is 30, going up to 45. In fact, no, it went up to 45 just before the platform at Wood Grange Park here. Now, I'm not sure if it's still there, but when I was watching this on YouTube, when the route first came out, when I was route learning, on the HUD it says that the speed limit momentarily goes down to 30 miles an hour just before you get into Barking Station. It literally goes down to 30 miles an hour for like 5 seconds. There's no speed board next to the line or anything. It just says it on the HUD that it goes down to 30 miles an hour for 5 seconds, and then it goes back up to 45. Now this takes place in the most random location. I don't think that is what the speed limit actually is in real life, so I'm not gonna bother slowing down for that. It's on the approach to Barking station, so there's a chance you're gonna be slowing down for the station anyway. But I just thought I'd point that out. I can't remember where it is. It's coming up now. I think it's around the area of the next signal. So this is the flyover here. The line down there goes into the Barking station, but the other side. That's where the trains used to terminate before they built the extension up to Barking Riverside. So here's the signal. I think it's around the area of this trailing point here where the speed limit goes down to 30. Yeah, there. Can you see? See what I'm talking about? But there's no. That is a very fast approach, you know. Are we gonna be okay? Yeah, we'll be fine. Um, yes, it says the speed limit goes down to 30, but there's nothing to suggest that it does, and you can see now the speed limit's gone right back up to 45. So I think that was put there by mistake. I don't really think the speed limit's 30, guys. I'll be so honest. So yeah, I refuse to slow down for that nonsense. Sorry, you can slow down to it if you want, like when you're doing your own run throughs, but I'm not slowing down for that. I refuse to. It makes no sense. Barking station, my people. Barking station. Yeah, very very long platform here at Barking because you got the C2C trains, which can be up to 12 carriages in length that stop here. So yeah, you can get away with. Well, we we basically got away with 45 miles an hour into the platform, but I would advise more than 30 if you're trying to drive in a sensible manner. Anyway, let's get a move on here. Green signal, closing those doors. Perfect. Next and final station, Barking Riverside, guys, where we will conclude this little return trip. This was interesting. I like this. It was a nice little relaxed morning run to get me in a good mood for the day ahead. Speed limit's 45, soon going up to 60. 60 is the fastest speed you'll travel at on this route. So there's the 60 board there, just waiting for the full length of our train to be clear. We're only 4 carriages long, so it won't take too long. This is a very weird train. We're traveling at 60, but it doesn't really feel that fast because of the way the train looks. Like it's weird. Like it's got this massive windscreen, like where you can just see everything. But the Class 700 is like that as well. But it's for some reason the 700 feels faster. It might be because of the sounds maybe. But on this, it doesn't seem that fast. It sort of feels like an underground train. Not everyone's gonna understand what I mean, but whatever. Alright, so speed limit is about to go down to 50 miles an hour. When you come to this signal here with the route indication, tap on the brakes. That will bring you down to 50. Position 4 junction. Oh, excuse me. Position 4 junction indication on that signal tells us that we are being routed onto the Barking Riverside branch. And then as soon as you come off of that point there, tap on the brakes again, because speed limit goes down once again to 40 miles an hour, and that comes into force just at that signal there. So be sure that you're down to that in time. And we have a final reduction in the speed limit down to 25 miles an hour on the approach to Barking Riverside Station. Just gonna give us a burst of power to maintain 40. If you look at Google Maps, when you look at how this route's been constructed, they've definitely they've definitely built it to go across the River Thames to, I think it's, what's on the other side? Is it Thamesmead? I think it's Thamesmead on the other side of the river from here. You can see they've definitely built it with plans to extend it over there and possibly further as well, which I think is very smart. You've got Barking Riverside, this huge developed area, development area, I should say, development land, whatever they call it. I failed geography, guys, but yeah, yeah. So when you pass over that AWS magnet, um, it's always gonna give you a cautionary indication because this signal is either gonna be a single yellow or a red. When you pass over that, get your brakes in for the 25 mph speed limit. This occasion we've been routed into platform 2. When you hit the crossover, tap on the brakes again. Just sound the horn at the P-way workers. Tap on the brakes again. Bring it down to about 10 miles an hour in the platform, into the platform. Release your brakes. And just creep your way along up to the buffer stops. So the final tap on the brakes. About 5 miles an hour is what you want to be traveling at. A carriage length away from the buffer stops. My voice is giving up, but thankfully we're towards the end of the video, guys. And there we are, stopped. Right. Brake step 3, neutral, sets the driver reminder appliance. I know I said not to set the driver reminder appliance, but I'm not going to be driving after this, so I'm going to do it on this occasion. And door release on the left. Right, let's shut the cab down. So select the shutdown position on the F&R switch. Remove your master key. As long as the tail light switch is in the auto position, then you don't need to worry about that. Tail lights will automatically display when the F&R switch is put into the shutdown position. TPWS and AWS into the isolated position. Same with the vigilance and whatnot. Get the cabinet closed. Come outside. Do the outro. That's not a good position, is it? It will do. It will do. Right. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this two-parted commentated drive. If you made it through both parts and you watched up until now, you are a real one. I owe you something. Constructive feedback and criticism is more than welcome in the comment section below and is highly appreciated. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.